Some of you may recognize the airplane that has me surrounded as a restored Bellanca Cruisemaster, a relic from 1950. I bought this airplane in 1972, and for reasons that even I don't fully understand, I still own it, along with a 1969 Mooney Turbo Executive that regular viewers of Wide World of Flying may remember from previous issues. Just what every pilot needs, 2 airplanes to support. The Bellanca is a classic in every respect. And though most pilots probably know about the next generation Bellanca, the Viking, it's probably one of the best kept secrets in general aviation that Vikings are still being produced today. This is the 1992 Bellanca Viking 300. A true high-performance retractable if ever there was one. An airplane that's still built the way Bellancas have been built for half a century, by hand. In fact, Bellanca is the oldest brand name still in the business of building little airplanes, though the current company, Bellanca Incorporated, has no relationship to the old Bellanca Aircraft Company. Today's Super Viking 300 retains all the best of what went before, and the 1992 version represents the best of the best. With a speed in excess of 200 miles per hour, the Viking 300 offers the same or better cruise performance than any other retractable on the market. The Viking is truly an airplane unlike any other on the general aviation market. It's built of wood, fabric, and tube steel, and in many respects, its construction is actually superior to all aluminum. For at least the last quarter century, Bellancas have been built here in Alexandria, Minnesota, the land of real Vikings, America's true Nordic craftsmen, to whom working in wood is an art form that seems to come naturally. The Viking Sitka spruce wing is lovingly crafted from 1,800 tiny pieces of preformed wood. The result is a finished wing that's incredibly smooth to both the touch and the sky. Bellanca investigated adapting a composite wing to the Viking and found there were no significant advantages in either weight savings, strength, aerodynamics, or cost. So the Viking wing remains essentially the same as it's always been. Bellanca has always had a justified reputation for some of the best interiors in the industry, and that's partially a function of meticulous detail and first-class materials. At only 41 inches across, Bellancas aren't the roomiest singles in the sky, but they're certainly among the best upholstered, even including such esoteric items as a ski tube. The airplane comes standard with a full IFR King package of avionics, but if you want more, as most pilots do, there's no limit to what you can install. Our test airplane had a KFC 200 flight director, a new King KLN-88 Loran, a KNS-80 navigation system, and probably a bunch of other things I never found. Building the airplane entirely by hand, it takes Bellanca about 120 days to complete a Viking 300. And they do that about 8 times a year. That's right, Bellanca builds only one airplane every 6 weeks. But Vikings are built unlike any other airplanes in the world. Since 1967, when Bellanca introduced the first Viking 300, there have been some 1,300 examples built, the vast majority of them Continental-powered. And though the basic configuration hasn't changed much, our 1992 version includes a few improvements over what's gone before. Overall, it's a slick package of airplane with all antennas mounted inside the fuselage, wheels and wings slickly faired, and very little left hanging out to grab the wind.
What makes Bellancas so outstanding, however, is the way they fly. And today, we've come up to Mojave Airport in California's high desert to show you just what a 1992 Viking can do. With a 300 horsepower Continental IO 520 out front and only 3,325 pounds of airplane to lift, the Viking's power loading is a mere 11.1 pounds per horsepower, the lowest power-to-weight ratio of any high-performance single I know of. Earlier today, we recorded a maximum effort high-performance takeoff from near sea-level Compton Airport in the Los Angeles basin. Here's what it looked like from both inside and outside the airplane. Okay, the procedure on the high-performance takeoff is pretty simple. Just power to the stop, see 40 miles an hour, half flaps, and rotate.
The high-performance takeoff in the Bellanca happened so quickly
that you have to be prepared to rotate the aircraft as soon as you hit 40 miles an hour, or you wind up using more runway than is necessary. Keep in mind, however, that this is regarded only as an emergency procedure to get off a really short strip if you don't have any choice. It's not the sort of thing you'd want to do every day. If you had a power failure during a departure such as that, you'd have to punch the nose over pretty hard in order to avoid stalling the airplane.
Let's take another look at that short field takeoff in a long shot to give you a better idea of just how little runway the Viking needs to get off the ground. Here at Mojave's 3,000-foot pressure altitude, we'll keep our takeoff technique a little more conventional. The goal at Compton was to get off and up in the shortest possible distance, but here at Mojave, we'll attempt to maximize climb rate. Like all designs, the Viking isn't perfect, but it has a certain indefinable charisma that effectively transcends considerations of performance and efficiency. The Viking isn't for every man, nor would Bellanca want it to be. By any measure, the Bellanca Viking 300 is one of General Aviation's last preeminent symbols of individuality.